What's up, family, and welcome back to the channel. I have a different conversation for today, as in all days, and I think you're going to enjoy this one. Before we jump in, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out our community, consider volunteering for our community, and also check out our merch. We have some of the dopest merch in the game, if I may say so myself, and I may. All right, so now that that's kind of over with, let's jump into this. I want to talk about purpose because just kind of speaking from experience, it's often the people looking for the reason they were put on this earth that seem to waste the most of their time. And I say this as someone, speaking from experience, as someone who was one of those people who felt like my purpose was outside of me and that God had to, define my purpose. And then even after I let go of God, it was other things for a while. My ancestors had to define my purpose, so it's just all different things. Intuition, the universe has a plan for me, and all these types of things. It wasn't until after I started deconverting that I began realizing that it was no one else's responsibility or right to have a plan for my life. It was nobody else's responsibility to direct my life, and to even think that was actually robbing myself of full autonomy and full agency. That's ultimately a precious privilege afforded me and all living things by having the default position of being alive and well. If you are alive and well, you have both the responsibility and the right to kind of direct your life, to self assign, if you will, your purpose. Many people spend a significant portion of their lives searching for their purpose, often looking for external validation or a predefined destiny, which was major for me because when when the thing that gives you your purpose is God, for me, again, I can only speak for me. When the thing that gives you your purpose, or the thing that you're supposed to derive your purpose from, is God or God's plan, then unfortunately that leads you to seeking external validation from others who you believe know God better than you do. And so it's actually a very slippery slope, because the one thing that all rational minded people know is that if there is a God, it does not speak. And so if it does not speak, then a person is dependent on other folk who claim to speak for that God, or dependent on superstitious reasoning. Maybe this means this, or maybe this means this. This quest often leads to frustration and a feeling of wasted time, as the answers the person is seeking are not easily found in external or silent sources. People become dependent on irrelevant signs as signals for what decision they should make or not make, as opposed to just learning how to navigate life. For those deconverting from a belief system, a pivotal moment comes when they realize that their life's direction is not the responsibility of any external entity, especially imaginary ones. And this epiphany, often after processing the pain of disappointment, brings a sense of liberation and understanding, and basically understanding that self determination is a fundamental aspect of human existence, one that I am grateful for. Now, I guess maybe, perhaps, because my journey through deconversion also included um, studying the historical plight of African Americans and African abroad. Self determination is something that has become increasingly and immensely valuable to me. Like, oh man, it's probably one of the most important things in my life. Self determination. Yikes. And in many ways, of course, I come to the term through political nuances of understanding that people groups being able to self-determine, self-define, self-govern, if you will. This is something that when you think of Oof, I'm gonna have to do a whole Juneteenth, July 4th episode now. Yikes. Because when you think about freedom and you think about liberation, freedom is the ability to self-govern. It's the ability to self-determine. And so far, in many ways, Black people have been robbed of that in this country. The ability to self-govern. You know, we gotta follow y'all laws, even the ones that were laws before we were allowed to contribute to the laws. That's an ethical issue. It's not one that many people like to talk about, but it is. So the big point is, and I'll kind of jump into that rabbit trail on another video, but the big point is self-determination is immensely important to me. And one thing that I realize is that the 28 years that I lived my life as a believer, I had no self-determination. I'd robbed myself of that. I'd robbed myself of the right and the responsibility to determine what my life would be, how my life would be, and what my life would be. Not only I, but I was surrounded by people who were living in that same type of place, which is why I often try to show people how much of our politics are impacted by our own superstitious inclinations. And we need to be mindful of that. If we are serious about stopping harm or reducing harm, then these are things that we need to be mindful of. And from what I see, most people are just saying that they're serious about it, but they don't seem to be actually serious about it. That's a whole nother conversation. Um, but yeah, self-determination is a fundamental aspect of not just human existence, but also the human experience. You know, one of the most heartbreaking things in my life is still viewing people who feel like their life is not, within their sphere of influence or their spectrum of control. And I know that there are a great deal of things that are beyond us, but focusing on the things that are beyond you are not really ever helpful because you have no control of those things by definition of them being beyond you. But I'm always amazed at how many people won't focus on the things that are absolutely within your control. And many times it's because you've already been inundated with this idea that it's not within my control. Nothing is within my control. I can't do anything. Nothing I can do will make a difference. And that is such a self-defeating way of experiencing life. And I want us to realize that most of that does come from our superstitions, primarily because you will have a hard time finding evidence for that. Now, mind you, I said evidence and not anecdotes, because you'll find plenty of anecdotes that seem to support that. But when you absolutely interrogate the evidence, what you find is that people are wildly capable. The most heartbreaking thing that I experience on a daily basis is in coming in contact with people who don't know their own capacity. I have friends who believe that they have to listen to the universe to figure out what they should do in their lives. What that literally means is that they do not trust that they are capable of understanding the world that they live in. I have plenty of family members who believes that if God doesn't speak, the God who doesn't speak, that they won't know what to do. I've often told the story of me and my family being in a church service where the pastor, firmly and audaciously says that we are stupid. God is the only one smart. We're not capable of understanding God's ways. And what I'm trying to raise the alarm about is that message has taken root. That there are people who believe that they are not capable of navigating their own lives. You want to know how the world gets in the predicament that it is in today? Start there. Start there. Start with wondering, what damage have we done by convincing people that they're not capable? It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Being alive inherently grants every individual the precious privilege of making choices about their life. And this privilege, for the most part, is universal. is shared by all living beings and emphasizes the autonomy that each person has in shaping their destiny. With the understanding of self-determination comes the responsibility to critically engage with the circumstances of the world. It's crucial to analyze and understand the world as one experiences it, recognizing the impact of personal choice on broader outcomes and learning how to navigate the obstacles that entropy will inevitably produce. That's probably one of the biggest differences between me and even some of my contemporaries is that I refuse to have a villain in life. Many of my colleagues view, I hate to use the word, but they're finger pointers. This person is the reason why this person is the reason is why this, and this person is the reason why this. If I still believed that way, I'd still be homeless. If I still believed that way, I'd still not be able to take care of my children. I have no villains. I have no enemies. Nobody's the reason that my life is or isn't. Entropy is. One of the most powerful thoughts that I ever had, realizations or what may have you, that absolutely revolutionized my life even more than separating from religious superstition, was coming to this place where I realized that much of the harm that was caused to my life, many of the downfalls that I've experienced, many of these happen because I was trying to treat the world as I thought it should be, as opposed to learning about the world that I actually lived in. I believed in things such as what goes around comes around. I believed in things such as long as you're nice to people, God will take care of you. I believed in things like, everybody should have integrity. I have no evidence for a world where everybody has integrity. So why would I engage a world that I don't have evidence of existing? You see that? What I had to learn is how to critically engage the world as it is. And once I was able to do that, then I was able to self-assign purpose. Now that I see the world that I live in, well, probably not the whole thing, I'm still getting a view. But now that I got a better view of the world that I live in, now that I have a better understanding of the world that I live in, there's no need for me to pretend like this is not the world that I live in. And for me, purpose is determining what I want to do about it. Excuse me. Purpose is determining whether I want to contribute to the forward progress of the world, the forward progression of the world, or if I just want to enjoy my life, which everybody has a right. You have a right to choose what you want to do in your life. Your purpose is your responsibility. It's it. And to me, that was incredibly liberating because it means nobody else gets to pick my seat. That's powerful to me. Nobody else gets to pick my seat in life. I get to look around, determine where I want to sit, and sit there. That's why I do the work that I do, because I've taken my seat. Whew. This has been wonderful. Like man, I love it so much. I've taken my seat. I actually did write a poem about that because it was such a crucial moment for me. Being intentional about one's actions and understanding their potential consequences is essential for responsible or productive living. And by that, I mean living a life that satisfies you and your expectations. I am confident that you are capable of living a life that satisfies you and your expectations if you're willing to critically engage the world around you. This involves a conscious effort to contribute positively to the world, acknowledging that every choice has a ripple effect. Embracing the idea that no one else should determine your life's path fosters a sense of autonomy and personal accountability that cannot be robbed. Deconversion and the journey towards self determination often leads to continuous personal growth and a deeper understanding of oneself and one's desired place in the world. As a former pastor, that's where I find my work to be most necessary, helping people on their journey to self determination. Living intentionally requires active engagement with the world, making informed decisions, and taking responsibility for the outcomes of those decisions. For me, this has been the discovery of an incredible gift, one that I want to help others find along their way. I hope I've said something of value for you in this conversation, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out our community, consider volunteering for the community, consider financially supporting, or buy some merch. Either of those things are incredibly helpful. I love to see your comments in the video. I know y'all can see my beagle getting up behind me. It probably just freaked some of you out, but hey, such is life. I love you all. Until next time, keep rising, stay progressive, and only if you can, stay beautiful. I'll holla at you.